Hi everyone, welcome. And this is another video on the introduction to anatomy. And in this video, I'll be covering body planes and sections. So planes are imaginary flat surfaces, and they are used to divide an organ or the body into different parts. So to describe the anatomy of internal structures, we need to divide the body or an organ using these imaginary flat surfaces, which are known as planes. And they are commonly used in anatomy and radiology. So there are four types of planes. So the most commonly used ones are sagittal plane, coronal or frontal plane, and transverse plane. And less commonly used, we have oblique plane. So first, let's see sagittal plane. So generally, sagittal plane, it divides the body or an organ into right and left sides. And we have two types of sagittal plane. We have mid-sagittal or median plane, and we have parasagittal plane. So mid-sagittal, as the name indicates, it divides the body into equal right and left parts. So it runs in the midline, and it divides into equal right and left sides. But parasagittal, it runs parallel to the mid-sagittal, and it will divide the body into unequal right and left sides. So this is a mid-sagittal plane. As you see, it runs in the midline, and it will divide into equal right and left parts. But this one is parasagittal. It divides the body into unequal right and left sides. But this one is mid-sagittal. It divides the hand into equal right and left sides. Similarly, this one is also mid-sagittal, and it divides the foot into equal right and left sides. The other plane is frontal or coronal plane. So as you see it here, frontal or coronal plane, it divides the body into anterior and posterior parts. The third one is transverse plane, or is known as cross-sectional plane, or is known as horizontal plane, and commonly in radiology, it's known as axial plane. So this plane, it divides the body into superior and inferior parts, or into upper and lower parts. So as you see it here, it will divide the body into superior and inferior parts. The last plane is oblique plane. As the name indicates, oblique, this plane runs diagonally. And when we see the other planes, when we see sagittal plane, transverse plane, and coronal plane, they are perpendicular to each other. But oblique plane, it runs at an angle between sagittal and transverse plane, or between transverse and coronal plane. So oblique plane, it runs diagonally. So when we cut organs or the body using these planes, the resulting flat surface is known as a section. So for example, here, as you see, the lower limb is divided by a sagittal plane, and this resulting flat surface is known as sagittal section. Here we are using transverse plane, so this resulting flat surface is known as transverse section. Here we are using oblique plane, so this flat surface is oblique section. So after cutting the organ or the body with the plane, the resulting flat surface is known as a section. So if we are using sagittal plane, sagittal section. If we are using coronal plane, coronal section. So generally these planes and sections, they are used to describe internal structures. So I have a knowledge check question. Match the planes with their respective section. So match the planes with this radiographic image. So A is sagittal plane, B coronal plane, and C is horizontal plane. So this the first section, it shows coronal or frontal section. The second picture, this radiographic image, it shows axial section, which means horizontal or cross-sectional section. And the last one, this is a sagittal section. So that's all about body planes and sections. See you in the next video.